All right, we're about to dive into two stories that seem like they have nothing to do with each other. One's about a garden that eats reality, the other a cathedral that processes waste. But, and this is the really wild part, when you put them together, they reveal this profound, kind of mind-blowing argument about what we're all even here for. So yeah, let's jump right in.
So, at the very heart of this are two completely impossible ideas. On one hand, you have a living garden that's literally dissolving all separation, turning everything into one single connected thing. And on the other side, a living cathedral that takes all of a society's waste and processes it with this brutal, terrifying efficiency. But here's the thing. These aren't just weird backdrops for a story. They're like philosophical engines, you know? And we're about to see what happens when their ideas collide.
Okay, so first up, let's get our bearings and actually explore these two cities. And trust me, they're way more than just places to live. They're basically living, breathing arguments for how reality itself ought to work.
So try to picture this. You're living in a city where reality itself is, well, it's softening. The buildings around you are literally being swallowed up by this massive living garden. You know that brick wall you passed yesterday? Today it's just a mound of dirt covered in vines. The very line between inside and outside has just vanished. And that map you've got, totally useless by lunchtime. It's a world where the entire concept of being separate is being digested.
And now, let's do a complete 180. We're jumping to the polar opposite, a city where brutal efficiency is the only thing that matters. It's king, it's God. At its center is this enormous living building they call the Meat Cathedral. And its job? To process all organic waste, and yeah, that includes people who've died, and turn it all into power for the city. It's a cold, sterile, industrial world where everything, and I mean everyone, is measured purely by how useful they are.
All right, so how do we even begin to make sense of these bizarre worlds? Well, we need guides. We're going to meet two people whose unique points of view are the absolute key to unlocking what's really going on inside the garden and the cathedral.
First up is Cassia Moff. Now get this, she's an academic, but her field of study is the spaces between things, the thresholds. Which sounds kind of weird, right? But in a world where all the boundaries are literally dissolving, her unique profession makes her the only person who can possibly navigate it all without completely losing her mind. She's not looking at the rooms, she's looking at the doorways.
And then we have Kel Varnish. Talk about a different story. In his super efficient world, he's basically been scheduled for termination. Why? Because a bureau has decided he's unproductive. He is officially waste. But here's the twist. The very fact that he's considered completely worthless gives him this incredible front-row seat to the terrifying logic of his society and what it truly throws away.
So, both of our observers, Cassia and Kel, in their totally different worlds, find something impossible. A mysterious door, a threshold. And this isn't just a door to another room, it's a door to the very idea at the heart of each of their realities.
For Cassia, she follows the special compass she has, and it leads her to a door just standing by itself in the middle of a plaza. No walls, nothing. And she quickly realizes this isn't a gateway to another place. It's a gateway to a whole new state of being. It's literally the entrance to the consciousness of the garden itself.
Meanwhile, deep down in the guts of the Meat Cathedral, Kel finds a similar, impossible door. But his door, well, it opens into this total, absolute darkness. He's found the final destination for everything, and everyone his city has ever decided was trash.
So when Cassia steps through her door, she experiences what's called the connection. It's not like she dies. Her individual mind just expands. Suddenly, she's one with everything. The city, the ground, time itself. It's described as this incredible feeling of coming home, of finally letting go of the burden of being just one separate person.
Kel's experience, on the other hand, is totally different. He steps into the void. And this is a super important distinction. This isn't where the physical garbage goes. No, this is where the meaning of the discarded things accumulates. All the significance, the memories, the value, it all ends up here, forming a kind of ghost consciousness made of everything the city deemed worthless.
So there you have it, two absolutely profound revelations. One reality is pushing towards absolute unity, where everything becomes one. The other is creating an absolute absence, a void where all discarded meaning gathers. And that right there, that's the core conflict we're diving into.
And if you thought that was weird, this is where things go completely off the rails. Because inside these conceptual spaces, Cassia and Kell discover that humanity has this unbelievable role to play in a sort of cosmic economy. So Cassia is now basically talking to the garden, to this being that is everything everywhere all at once, and she poses the one question that really matters. If you're everything, what could you possibly be missing?
And the answer is just stunning. Finitude. The unique, precious, and sometimes beautiful experience of being just one thing. I mean, think about it. Because it's infinite, the garden can never truly know loneliness, or loss, or that ache of being separate from something you love. It can contain these ideas, sure, but it can't feel them from a single, isolated perspective.
And that's when the garden's true purpose clicks into place. It's not destroying humanity, it's collecting our experiences. Our finite lives, all our joy, all our suffering are a priceless treasure to it, a performance that the infinite itself could never create. Humanity, it turns out, is the universe's most precious art form.
Okay, so let's switch gears and go back to Kell in the Void. His journey poses a completely different but just as fundamental question. It's rooted in this kind of cosmic law of conservation his society has totally ignored. If you throw something away, where does it actually go?
The answer that comes back from the void is simple and absolutely terrifying. It doesn't just disappear. Every single time you discard something, or someone, it has a cost. It accumulates on the other side of a cosmic ledger, creating a debt that must, eventually, be paid.
This is the meaning debt. It's the grand total of all the significance from everything the city has deemed worthless. And when that debt is finally called in, the consequence isn't physical destruction. No, the city will just keep existing, but it will be rendered completely hollow, devoid of all purpose and meaning, an engine running on nothing, for nothing.
So this all brings us to the climax, where both our protagonists, armed with these insane cosmic revelations, get to negotiate a whole new deal for humanity.
And they arrive at two different, but maybe complementary solutions. Cassia convinces the garden to slow its absorption in exchange for humanity intentionally performing interesting experiences of separation for it. Kell convinces the cathedral to stop mindlessly processing and start preserving the meaning of the discarded, to start paying down that debt.
So in the end, we're left with two totally new paths to cosmic significance. The first path says, our purpose is to be witnessed in our unique, sometimes painful separateness. It treats our loneliness as a performance. The second path says, our purpose is to preserve the meaning that others would just throw away. It treats waste as a kind of sanctuary.
What's amazing is that both of these stories transform human limitation and suffering from a curse into a cosmically significant treasure. So the question that leaves us with is, what does that mean for us? Is our ultimate purpose to perform our unique lives for some cosmic audience? Or is it to be the curators who preserve the meaning that the universe would otherwise forget?